Hey guys, Silver Shady here, and welcome to another episode of Pokefriday. Uh, and today it's going to be a bit of a longer one. If you guys aren't interested in spoilers about what's actually most likely going to be in Sun and Moon 3 Burning Shadows, you can skip this one entirely because that's literally all we're going to be talking about is the leaks that came out about Japan's Sun and Moon 3 set, which usually, at least from the experience of Guardians Rising, our Sun and Moon 3 set, Burning Shadows, should contain Japan's SM3 and the SM2 Strengthening Expansion Pack. So we're going to go over a couple of cards. It's going to be a long one, as you can see at the top there. I have all different tabs open of all the different leaks that we've had over the last few weeks. Just going to go over them all. We're going to go through this. I took a quick glance at this. This is being recorded on Wednesday, so yeah. But yeah, either way, all right. Let's get into it. So to start off, we're going to start off with Marshadow GX, fighting type, 150 HP, basic. Alright. Ability, Shadow Hunt. This Pokemon can use the attacks of basic Pokemon in your discard pile. Must have the necessary energy to use an attack. Okay. That could actually get kind of cool. I could see how that could be useful. Beat down, 120 damage. 100 Fissures GX. 50 damage times the number of basic energy attached to this Pokemon. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. And then weak to Psychic, and 1 tree cost. And you can see a picture of it right there. So, interesting. I'll give it that. It's interesting. Next up, we have Alolan Muck GX. Dark type, 220 HP, stage 1. For a dark and 2 colorless, Chemical Press, 10 damage, stacked to 70 more damage for each special condition affecting your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay. 2 dark, 2 colorless, crunch, 120 damage, discard 1 energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Honestly, it sounds a bit expensive for that, if you're asking me, but, and then, wait, is that a... Yeah, okay. So his GX attack costs nothing to use. Tri-Hazard GX. Choose one of your opponent's benched Pokemon and switch it with their active. The new active Pokemon is now The new active Pokemon is now poisoned, burned, and paralyzed. And then you follow it up with a Chemical Press for the knockout. Gotcha. Alright. Yeah, I'm not too hyped about that. That just doesn't... Yeah. It's too conditional, is its problem. Kingdra, stage 2, water, 140 HP. 1 water energy. Brine. Choose one of your opponent's Pokemon with damage counters on it. This attack does 90 damage to it. Oh, shit. Okay, so I can already see some synergy with Tapu Koko there. And then for for 1 water energy, Tornado Shot for 90 damage, and you discard a water energy attached to this Pokemon, and it does a 30 damage snipe to one of your opponent's bench. That's actually pretty solid. I'm actually really interested in that. And we have Vileplume. Oh, please. What is it? Ability, Bitter Pollen. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent's basic Pokemon can't attack. Interesting. Okay. Downer Shock for 60. Flip a coin if has your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. If tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused for 2 grass and a colorless. It seems like you'd just run it for its ability, but yeah, I think personally I'd still prefer running something like Safeguard or something. Anyway. It's still 3 fucking star retreat cost. It's still ridiculous. And weak to fire, whatever. Psychic type Palo-Sand. Alright. 130 HP, stage 1. For 1 psychic energy and 2 colorless. Sand Tomb for 80 damage. The defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. And then for 4 colorless energies. Dust Storm for 100 damage, and you discard all cards attached to both players' active Pokemon. Wow. Damn. A neat effect. I'm just struggling to find a situation in which I'd want to use that attack. Well, it's interesting nonetheless. ×2 weakness to dark, resistance to fighting, and a 4-star retreat cost. Which means once you use that attack, you're stuck there. So that's a thing. Mount Lanakila. I probably didn't pronounce that right. I don't fucking care. Stadium card. The retreat cost of each player's basic Pokemon is increased by colorless. Man, a lot of basic hate. Holy shit. Odd choice. I mean, well, I suppose this set will be legal for this year's World, so it'll be interesting to see how some of these cards correlate into the meta right now. Then again, the meta's kind of been taken over by stage 1s at the moment, so. Abominable, fighting, 140 HP. For 1 fighting energy, Guts Hammer, 80 damage. This Pokemon does damage to itself equal to the number of damage counters on it. Cool, so if you have 70 damage on you, you knock yourself out. Fantastic. And then 3 fighting energy, double stamp for 80 plus, flip 2 coins, stack does 40 more for each heads. Who cares? It's okay. Dynamo, lightning, 40 HP. For 1 lightning, Aqua Shock, 10 damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon has a water energy attached to it, this attack does 20 more. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Conditional, but it's definitely not bad. And then Electric, for 1 lightning and a colorless, small appetite. If your opponent's active Pokemon's maximum HP is 100 or more, this attack does nothing. Well then. And then Electros, lightning type, 140 HP, evolves from Electric. For 1 lightning and a colorless Megamouth, 50 damage, the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. And then for 2 lightning and a colorless, Vacuum Volt, 80 damage, and you may do an additional 80 damage. If you do, this attack also does 80 damage to one of your Pokemon. Joy. 3 retreat cost on that, too. That's... Okay. Alolan Rattata, Dark type, 40 HP. For a free attack, focus energy. During your next turn, this Pokemon's bite attack's base damage is 60. Okay, that's actually kind of cool, I guess. I mean, it's probably not going to live long enough to use that attack. It's only got 40 HP. But, that's kind of cool. And then bite for 1 dark, dealing a normal 10 damage instead of... yeah. And then we have Alolan Raticate. Dark type, 120 HP for nothing. No cost at all. Reinforced Fang, 10 damage. If this Pokemon has a Pokemon tool card attached, this attack does 50 more. Okay, so we get a 60 damage attack. And then for 1 dark energy, Hyper Fang for 60 damage. And flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. So, basically, this is a Pokemon that you don't want to attach energy to, essentially. Because you're never going to use that second attack. Alolan Rattata is never going to friggin' attack. So, yeah. Alright. That's a thing. Wimpod, 70 HP, Grass type. Ability, Wimp Out. During your first turn, this Pokemon's retreat cost is 0. As opposed to its disgusting 3. It's fantastic. that does pair well with Goliathspot GX, though. If you have to start with that as your active, you can retreat into something you can wall behind for a little bit, I guess. But and then for 1 grass and 2 colorless, gnaw for 30 damage. Never going to use that attack. Oddish, 50 HP grass type. For 1 grass energy, poison powder. That defending Pokemon is now poisoned. Gloom, again, 80 HP grass type. Stench, for 1 grass energy. The defending Pokemon is now confused. And then for 1 grass and a colorless, Razor Leaf for 30. Still nothing really special there. Bouffalant, colorless, 120 HP. For a DCE, Afro Head, 30 damage, and any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks during your opponent's next turn is reduced by 30. And then for 3 colorless energies, knock over for 80 damage. You may discard a stadium in play. Okay. Alright. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not... It doesn't really have any wow factor to me, so... There are a lot more things I'd rather attack with for a DCE, such as Tapu Koko or, you know... Yeah. Even Rayquaza I'd rather use. So, alright. Whirlipede, Psychic type, 90 HP. For a Psychic and a colorless, spin turn for 30 damage, and you switch this with one of your bench Pokemon. Good for getting it out of the active spot. And then for 2 Psychic and a colorless, roll out for 60. Not bad. My guess would be is we're going to be seeing the Venipede at some point soon. Probably hasn't leaked yet, but I expect a Venipede to show up at some point. Scolipede for 160 HP. Pretty good. For 2 Psychic and a colorless, Poison Horn for 80 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. And then for 3 Psychic and a colorless, Hard Roller, 140 of the stacked damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance. Okay. That's a skip one. Fantastic. Crabrawler, Fighting type, 80 HP. For 2 fighting energies, Light Punch for 40. Okay. Right. And we're getting Porygon, too. Or Porygon as well, I should say. Not, whatever. 60 HP colorless. For 1 colorless energy on both of its attacks, we have Code Check. Choose one of your opponent's face-down prize cards, look at it, then return it face-down. Okay, and then Beam doing 10 damage. Alright, I guess, yeah. Then we got Porygon 2. For a colorless energy, calculate, look at the top 6 cards of your deck, and return them to the top of your deck in any order. So you basically ask your opponent to end you at that point. So, whatever. 3 colorless energies for Beam doing 40 damage. And my guess would be we're going to be seeing a Porygon Z at some point. See-Through, your opponent reveals their hand. And then for a double colorless energy, Peck for 20 damage. Noctowl, 90 HP. For 1 colorless energy, Hypnoblast for 30. And your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. Okay, that's pretty good. And then for 3 colorless energies, Nocturnal Assault for 70. Look at your opponent's hand and discard 1 Pokemon card you find there. Okay. Noibat, Agility, 10 damage, flip a coin if heads during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all effective attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon. Alright. We got Horsey. We're guessing it's going to be 50 HP, but as you can see, it's kind of cut off there. So that's due to change. It could be 60, it could be 40, we don't know. And for 1 water energy, in keeping with the line that we have going, Water Arrow does 10 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Okay. Seadra having 80 HP, which leads me to believe it's probably going to be a 50 HP Horsey. Yeah. Again, 1 water energy for Water Arrow does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So that Stage 2 line, I actually really like. It has good synergy throughout the line. So, yeah, that might be something I want to look into. because that's really interesting. So, anyway, basically lead with, I'm thinking lead with Tapu Koko, and then once you get your Kingdra up and running, or at least a couple of them, you start sniping 90 damage on everything and just wipe the board. That's at least the train of thought, but we'll see if it works in practice. Simisear, yay. One of my least favorite Pokemon, yay. Colorless Energy, Scratch, 30 damage, who cares? It's 90 HP, by the way. One Fire, one Colorless Energy, Flare Recharge for 50 damage, and attach a Fire Energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. I would rather use Volcanion any day. And we got Simipour, so we're probably going to have Simisage here at some point too. One colorless Scratch for 30, and then for water and a colorless Aqua Reflect, 50 damage, and move one water energy from this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. Okay? Tangela, Grass, 80 HP. For one Grass energy, bind down 10 damage so that Fang Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. Nothing special. Tangrowth, Grass, 140 HP. Sorry. One Grass energy, Giga Drain, 30 damage. This Pokemon recovers HP equal to the amount of damage done to your opponent's active Pokemon. And then for 4 colorless energies, Cross Whip, flip 4 coins, attack does 50 damage times the number of heads. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could gimmick it out with Fliptini, I guess. Ralts, 60 HP. For 1 Fairy Energy, Drain Kiss, heal 10 damage from this Pokemon, whatever. Mudbray, Stomp, 20 damage. Flip a coin if heads, attack does 20 more. Alright, I think at this point, any of those just completely boring ones, I think we're just going to completely skip over, because otherwise we're going to be here all fucking day talking about cards no one cares about, and it's just going to be bulked down anyway, so yeah. Let's get to the juicy stuff. Alright, I guess this one's kind of interesting. Go figure, the next fucking one. Malamar, Dark type, 180, yeah. Malamar, Dark type, 100 HP, evolves from Inkay for 1 Dark Energy Psybeam for 20, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. And then for a Dark and 2 colorless, Energy Slosh for 70, you may move all energy attached to this Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. Okay. Alright, so kind of a bit of a cute one here. Persian with 90 HP, 1 colorless energy on both of its attacks. Screech. During your next turn, any damage done to the defending Pokemon is increased by 60. And then Slash doing 40 damage. It's interesting, but thinking about it, it's similar to like the Alolan Rattata, where it just essentially boosts base damage. It's pretty much the long and the short of it. Except it's affecting your opponent's active Pokemon, so if they retreat, that resets the effect anyway, so it's easier to get around, essentially. Okay, this is an interesting one. Bruxish, Water type. We can't see the HP, so we're guessing 90, but it might be more or less, we don't know. For 1 Water Energy, Gnash Teeth, the defending Pokemon is now confused. It's a Water type, by the way, I should mention that. And then for 1 Water and 2 colorless energies, Synchronize for 60 damage, and this attack does 20 damage to each of your opponent's benched Pokemon that has the same type as your opponent's active Pokemon. So against a deck like Volcanion, that would actually do some decent damage, if it wasn't so friggin' expensive to use, but... again, I'd still rather use Tapu Koko. Sure, you get 40 more damage on your opponent's active Pokemon, but Tapu Koko would be good in all matchups, not just one. So, yeah. And then Potown. When either player plays a card from their hand to evolve a Pokemon, place 3 damage counters on that Pokemon. And it's a stadium. So, okay, so balancing it out, I guess. Huh. We have basic Stadium Hate, and then Evolution Stadium Hate. And now we're at the secret rares here. So got things like Full Art Gardevoir, which we'll be talking about in a minute. We got the Full Art Charizard, or I should say Hyper Rare Gardevoir. Still looks pretty good, I guess. Full Art Charizard, whatever. Full Art Plumeria. That's another card we're going to be talking about. Very good. Hyper Rare Alolan Muck. Yeah. Friggin' Noivern. Ugh. We are getting the Fairy and the Fire Energy this time, and presumably the Dark Energy as well, which leaves only the Water Energy left. So that's kind of interesting, although, again, this isn't finalized yet. We're still waiting on everything else to come out, so for all I know, by the time this actually comes up, we'll have Water Energy be leaked too. And if it does, I'll just put a thing at the end of the video, I guess. Whatever. We have Secret Rare Escape Rope, so we're not losing it to rotation. And Super Scoop Up is coming back to us as well. We are getting the Full Art Secret Rare on that as well. So, and then we have the Hyper Rare Goliaspod GX. So, alright, anyway. So we're going to move on to Wick here. This was a supporter that was released actually a couple days ago as of this recording. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck and draws a new hand of the same number of cards. So, kind of like N, but not really. You don't gain any cards, you just get a shuffle. Interesting to be sure, but not something I'll actively use, I don't think. And then we have Guzma, which, by the way, fucking badass card right there. I love that card. Supporter, switch your opponent's active Pokemon to one of their benched Pokemon, then switch your active Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. Just, yeah, that looks good. I'm really liking that, actually. In all honesty, there are a lot of people saying that this is essentially, you know, a powered-down version of Lysander. To me, this is actually more powerful, because there have been countless times where I've wanted to use both Lysander and Olympia in the same turn, but can only play one supporter. So having this essentially being just like the child of those two cards is just amazing. And definitely a card I think I'll actually be playing over Lysander, to be honest. So, because there are so many times when you need a switch card and you don't have it. To have it as part of your Lysander just is much more powerful, in my opinion. And naturally, it has natural synergy with Goliaspod GX. That should go unnoted, but whatever. We got Lucario here. Ability, Determination. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during this turn, you may prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon, until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then for 3 Fighting Energy, Submarine Blow for 120. It has 120 HP. Interesting ability. I'm still not a huge fan of it. Seems gimmicky, so. Once it loads here. We also got the Dusk line. So, I'm going to start off with Dusknoir. 150 HP Psychic type, Dark Circle. Once during your turn, you may look at your opponent's hand. Put a basic Pokemon you find there onto your opponent's bench. Then put 3 damage counters on that Pokemon. That's actually kind of cool. Yeah. And then for a Psychic and a double colorless, Mind Jack for 30 damage. This attack does 30 more for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So it actually has synergy with its ability. Okay. Alright, I can get behind that. I definitely can get behind that. And of course, it's a Psychic type, so Wobbuffet doesn't affect it, so that's kind of cool. So you can kind of lead Wobbuffet, I guess, and kind of switch in between the two. Dusclops, 90 HP. Wander the Night. Put 1 damage counter on each Pokemon and play both yours and your opponent's. Okay. Ambush doesn't matter. And then Duskull with Dark Guide. Put 1 basic Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench. Interesting. Okay. Definitely something I want to try. Wow, for 3 psychic energy, just doing 50 for each colorless and your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost? Yeah. All set with that shit. That's a garbage. Garbage. Anyway. Alright. Plumeria. This is one of the supporters I'm actually excited for. Discard 2 cards from your hand in order to play this card. Then you discard 1 energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Anywhere on the board for your opponent's side. Any type of energy, doesn't matter. Just discard it. I like this a lot more than Flare Grunt. Because there have been so many times where I've had Flare Grunts in lists and I just don't like using it. So, yeah. There's that. We also got the Rhyperior line. We got Rhyhorn and Rhyperior. We don't have Rhydon, which is just fucking weird. But Rhyperior, 160 HP, its ability, Mountain Removal. When you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during this turn, you may discard the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Okay, so milling. Okay, that's a thing. And then for 2 fighting and 2 colorless, we don't know the name of the attack, but it does 170 damage, and it's not affected by weakness or resistance. And this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. Okay. Alright, that's a thing. Ribombee. Its ability, Gather Honey. Once during your turn before your attack, you may search your deck for 2 basic energy and put them into your hand. I don't know if I like this more than Oricorio. Although, yeah. Well, I believe it has synergy with Gardevoir, so let's keep that in mind before we judge it too harshly. Diancie from Sun and Moon 3. 90 HP, 1 Fairy Energy, Sparkling Prayer. Search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. Alright. So, again, helping that Gardevoir deck get out faster. Alright. And then for 1 Fairy and 1 colorless, Diamond Storm for 30, and you heal 30 from each of your Fairy types. Okay. And Zygarde. Dragon type. Right. Yeah, the only thing special about you is you have 150 HP, but your attacks are almost useless, so yeah, I'm not too excited about that. Anytime a dragon type is mentioned at this point, it's who cares? DD is rotating, so I mean, without double dragon energy, dragon types are just dead. So I'm sure someone will find some way to make it work, but Goliospa GX, 210 HP grass type. For 1 grass energy, first impression, 30 damage. This attack does 90 more if this Pokemon became your active Pokemon during this turn, which is absolutely fucking bonkers. So, definitely a card I want to look into playing. This and Darkrai, I think, are the 2 decks I'm really looking at right now. And then for grass and a double colorless, Armor Press for 100 damage during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes 20 less damage from your opponent's attacks. Which, with how powerful the first attack is with Guzma in format, I can't see any time you'd prefer to use Armor Press. I can't see it. And then for 1 grass, 2 colorless, Crosscut GX, 150 damage, and you switch this Pokemon to one of your bench. So. Alright. And we got Ho-Oh GX. Which, actually, the fuller looks good. I'm kind of surprised. Alright, so for 1 fire and 2 colorless energy, Sacred Fire, this attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So it's a 50 damage snipe, whatever. 190 HP, by the way. And then for 3 fire and 1 colorless, Phoenix Burn for 180, and this Pokemon can't use Phoenix Burn during your next turn. Right. 1 fire, 2 colorless, Eternal Light GX. Put 3 in combination of Fire Pokemon EX or Pokemon GX from your discard pile onto your bench. Can't use more than 1 GX attack per game. Well, it doesn't specify basic, so I suppose that GX attack is kind of useful, but, I mean, what would you get with it, in all honesty? I can't think of any Pokemon that I would want to have 3 of on my bench that I can't just play down from my hand, that I would have to use the GX attack for to get into play in a reasonable amount of time. Incineroar isn't that great. And the Charizard you're about to see is, yeah, questionable at best. Charizard GX, here we go. 250 HP, whatever. For 3 colorless energy, wing attack for 70. Again, whatever. And then for 3 fire and 2 colorless energies, Crimson Storm for 300 damage, and you discard 3 fire energy from this Pokemon. It's a Charizard. Just like every other Charizard, it's completely friggin' unplayable, but it's still probably going to be a $50 card. So. And then for a Fire and a DCE, Raging Out GX, this is what makes this card interesting to me. Discard the top 10 cards from your opponent's deck. 10. What Drampa draws you, this fucker discards. Just absolutely insane. In a mill deck, I could see someone trying to make that work, where you just run your opponent out of cards, and when they're down to 10 left, you just, oh, sorry. But pulling that off, I think, was going to be tricky. And then we have Butterfree, which actually is kind of interesting. I'm kind of intrigued by this, especially seeing as we have the Metapod and Caterpie from Generations, which have the adaptive evolution, which means they can evolve on the same turn. It's basically just like Forest of Giant Plants. Never mattered before now because Forest of Giant Plants was still in rotation, so who cared? And not to mention who actually played a Butterfree. But with Forest of Giant Plants rotating, now those 2 cards actually become a lot more powerful. Because now, Butterfree, for 1 grass energy, 120 HP by the way, bye-bye healing. Heal all damage from each of your Pokemon. Then shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it back into your deck. Again, it's actually really interesting to me. Because I never had a use for... I always thought of those, the Caterpie and the Metapod as being completely useless with their abilities. But this is actually a Butterfree I may actually look into. With those 2, of course. Without them, they're just... it's completely useless. But being able to play it on the same turn, and for only 1 grass energy doing all that, healing is just insane. It makes it so you don't need to use Tapu Lele's GX attack, and you can save that GX attack for something more powerful that you may need later. Because sometimes you just need the heal. But, again, something to look into, and probably more of a luxury card. Alright, Gardevoir GX. This is another one I'm excited about. Its ability, Fountain of Secrets. Once during your turn before your attack, you may attach 1 fairy energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. Yeah. Nothing more needs to be said about that. That's just awesome. And then for 1 fairy energy, Infinite Force. 30 damage. This attack does 30 damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. So... oh, shit. Oh. Oh, boy. Well then. That's a thing. That's a powerful thing, actually. Holy cow. Okay. Alright, that's something to keep in mind. And then for 1 fairy energy, Twilight GX, search your discard pile for 10 cards, show them to your opponent, shuffle them back into your deck. So essentially, if you get Charizard, if Charizard Raging Out GXs you, then just use your GX attack and put it all back. That's kind of awesome. I like that. That's cool. All right. Let's see what's next. Muscle Dumbbells. Attach. If this Pokemon is attached to a Stage 1 Pokemon, its max HP is increased by 40. As if Sylveon needed any more reason to be any more bulkier. But, hey, whatever. At least it doesn't give a 10 damage boost on top of that. I think they learned their lesson from fighting Fury Belt. But we'll see. And Toxicroak and Seviper. Now, the Toxicroak, I don't care. Whatever. The Seviper, I'm actually looking into for a Toxapex GX deck. But let's see. Toxicroak really doesn't look that special for 2 Psychic and a colorless Poison High, 80 damage. If this Pokemon is poisoned, this deck does 80 more. Then this Pokemon is no longer poisoned. Alright. Its first attack doesn't even poison itself. It would have decent synergy with Ariados, but I mean, if you pair it with Ariados, assuming you can meet the energy cost, I could see someone trying to use that. But anyway, Seviper, Psychic type, 100 HP. Ability, Poison Up. As long as this Pokemon is in play, place an additional damage counter on your opponent's poisoned Pokemon between turns. Holy shit, try to say that 5 times fast. Anyway, so if you have 4 of these, you tack on an additional 40 damage. If we're looking at expanded format, you could probably try to pair this with Burbank City Gym and probably Dragalge on top of that. If you can pull it all off and you hit with Toxapex, you could pull off some stupid numbers, but that's just my 2 cents. Heatmore. Odor Sleuth is kind of interesting. For a double colorless energy, you flip 2 coins. For each head, search your discard pile for 1 card, put it into your hand. I don't... Yeah. The coin flip is what kills it, honestly. Maybe in a flip-teeny, gimmicky type of deck, maybe, but aside from that, I can't see anyone running that. Yeah, this one... Again, another coin flip. Otherwise, it would be decent. For a double colorless energy, mix up, flip a coin. If heads, discard the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. Yeah. Rotom Deck's Pokefinder mode. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck and then put them back on top of your deck in any order you like, or shuffle them back into your deck. So kind of reminiscent of Trainer's Mail, but you can't take anything. You can rearrange it, though, which is kind of cool. I don't know. It's interesting. I think post-rotation, I think it might have a place in the format. I do think it'd be a luxury card, though. Definitely not something you'd be throwing 4 of in every deck. And this fucker. I saw this card, and I just... yeah. Alright. Noivern GX, Dragon type. So it's going to be good for another month. And then it'll die off because Double Dragon Energy is going. So that's the only reason that I'm not terribly upset about this card. For 1 dark and 1 colorless, Distortion. For 50 damage and during your opponent's next turn, your opponent can't play any item cards from their hand. Yeah, just so you know, yes, it's Quaking Punch with a built-in muscle band. Yeah. Yeah, we're going back to that. And then for 1 Psychic, 1 Dark, and 1 Colorless, Loud Sonic for 120. During your opponent's next turn, your opponent can't play any special energy cards from their hand. So, kind of reminiscent of Chaos Wheel with a muscle band tacked on. And then for 1 psychic, 1 dark, and 1 colorless, Explosive Soundwave GX. This attack does 50 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. The card is just all around good, as long as Double Dragon Energy is in format. Once Double Dragon Energy rotates, that may be a different story. We may have to reconvene on this guy, but the only other saving grace about him is the fact that he can't actually Quaking Punch you turn 1. So that's another saving grace. I still personally am very, very much upset that this card even exists. I think a lot of you know that I hate Seismitoad EX, just with a burning passion. So, yeah. To see its attack back is just not making me happy. Anyway. Yeah, that's not really that interesting. Who cares? Oh, Torment Spray. Alright. So, item card, choose 1 card from your opponent's hand and reveal it. If it's a supporter card, your opponent discards that card. If not, put it back into your opponent's hand. Suppose I could see some synergy with that with Noivern, but you don't get to look at their entire hand, just 1 card of it. So, yeah. Yeah, if it was you look at your opponent's hand in general and then you choose 1 supporter to discard, that would be a good card. But the way it is right now, where it's if your opponent has 7 cards in hand, then you have a 1 in 7 shot of hitting that Sycamore they're hanging on to. So, Pikachu and Raichu. Raichu is actually kind of interesting. When you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may leave your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed. Very similar to Servine. And I actually do like this ability. And then Volt Tackle for 2 lightning and a colorless Volt, doing 130 damage, and this Pokemon does 30 to itself. So, not bad. Alright. This guy. This guy. Search your deck. I can't even pronounce his name. I've tried. I'm not going to. Search your deck for 4 Fire Energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon. 4 Fire Energy, sorry, excuse me. Then you shuffle your deck and your turn ends. So, turn 1, Energy Acceleration, just absolutely insane. It could make Charizard somewhat usable, or Ho-Oh, but we'll see. We'll see. That's definitely an interesting one, but we will definitely see. Then the Alolan Grimer. Multiply. Search your deck for Alolan Grimer and put it onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. I don't know which one I like better. I think actually I like the Psychic type one better, as I think the Poison is really crucial. Whereas, if you were running Alolan Muck, which I don't know why you would, but if you are, then I'd probably run the Dark type to get all your Mucks in play sooner. But alright, we've already touched base on Ho-Oh, so we're going to skip over that. But we are looking at Necrozma GX. I've never learned how to pronounce his name, so I'm not going to really spend too much on that. Ability, End of Light. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from colorless Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. So, yeah, nice Mega Ray counter there. But Mega Ray just is rotating, so yeah. For 3 colorless energy, Prism Burst for 10 damage, discard all psychic energy attached to this Pokemon. It's a psychic type, it should be noted, by the way. And this attack does 60 more damage for each energy discarded in this way. Man, that can tack on a lot of damage. And then for 3 colorless energies, Black Ray GX. This attack does 100 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon GX. It's not affected by weakness, resistance, or any other effects. Damn. That's a lot of fucking damage. Holy shit. Alright, we're coming down to the end of it here. We got the Magikarp, Gyarados, and Darkrai from Sun and Moon 3. Magikarp, it's Magikarp, it's a fish, it's got 30 HP. There you go. Done. Gyarados, 150 HP. For double colorless energy, blast apart for 50 damage. This attack does 50 damage times the number of Magikarp in your discard pile. Cool. Alright. So you can cap out at 150, because assuming you need the one underneath that's actually evolve it. And then Darkrai. Ooh, excuse me. And then Darkrai itself having some nice synergy with its GX counterpart there. For a dark and a colorless Hypno Wave for 30 damage if your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. So puts them to sleep. Kind of nice. Then for a dark and 2 colorless energies, Dark Raid for 80. If your opponent has used their GX attack, this attack does 80 more. So kind of nice on that. Punishing your opponent for using their GX attack. I really do like that idea. And then we're not looking at the best of XY because I don't expect any of that to come to us. Based on what happened last time with Guardians Rising, I'm expecting that we're going to be seeing these two possibly in the set, but most likely these two are definitely going to be in the set. Then again, they may also just choose to release these two in boxes just to, cash grab, but we don't know. We'll see. Sophocles, I forgot what he does, but I remember he wasn't that interesting. So, yeah. Okay. And then these two. Or 3, I should say. So 3 more secret rares on top of the ones we've already touched base on. Again, based on the fact that Guardians Rising had 9 secret rares, I'm still expecting 1 more out of this set. Because we have 3 here, and then we got... Actually, no. Assuming they keep up with their pattern of having 6 for the main set and then 3 for the subset, we should expect to see 2 more secret rares come out of this. So we should definitely probably be on the lookout for that. Oh. Alright. So, first of all, Dark Energy, whatever. Who cares? It's a gold energy card. Fantastic. We are getting gold multi-switch, which I'm kind of excited about. And then the one that I am guessing is going... I'm guessing this is going to be the chase gold of the set. Sun and Moon, we had Ultra Ball being the one that was the expensive gold. Pulled one every 10, 12 boxes, whatever the ridiculous number was. Guardians Rising, it was double colorless energy. My guess is this set, it's going to be Choice Band. Because, honestly, I can see this card being very difficult to pull. I'm guessing, I'm speculating. There you go. We'll see if I'm right. Ladybud, not interesting. Most of this has kind of already, yeah. Salazzle GX. 200 HP. For 2 fire energies for all of its attacks. Wicked Claw, 50 damage. Attack does 50 damage times the number of prize cards you've already taken. So if you're winning, it does more. Kind of cool. Normally it's the other way around. Heat Blast for 110 damage. Kind of cool. If you're not already winning, you can start winning by hitting for 110. And then Queen Haze GX. Discard all energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Wow, that's kind of cool. still think I wouldn't use it, but Alolan Ninetales. This is not the GX, this is a regular. We have ability Light Barrier, 110 HP by the way. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon EX and Pokemon GX. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. And then for 1 water and 2 colorless, Aurora Beam for 80. It's got a 1-star retreat cost, which is notable on this guy because he is going to be retreating so you can get your active out. Not bad. Tapu Fini. We are getting the other 2 Tapus this set, technically. For 1 colorless energy, Aqua Ring for 20 damage, and you may switch this Pokemon to one of your bench. It's got 170 HP, by the way. For 2 water and a colorless, Hydro Shoot. Discard 2 water energy attached to this Pokemon and do 120 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Wow, that is underpowered. As if the attack cost wasn't bad enough. And then for 1 water energy, Tapu Storm GX. Shuffle your opponent's active Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your opponent's deck. If your opponent has no benched Pokemon, this attack fails. Okay, so I was about to say that that seems kind of stupid, but thinking about it, I can see why they did that. It's on a basic Pokemon for 1 water energy. So I definitely can see why they made it a stipulation, just so you can't donk your opponent. Alright, so that's kind of cool. Oh. Okay. Machamp GX. Alright. Fighting type, 250 HP. For 2 fighting energy, Cross Cut, doing 60 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon, stack to 60 more. Then for 3 fighting energy, we have Earthbreaker, 130 damage, discard any stadium card in play. And then for 3 fighting energy, Muscle Punch GX, 180 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. Okay. I'm not too excited about that. Solrock and Lunatone do look kind of interesting, though. Solrock for 1 colorless energy, double draw 2 cards, and then for a fighting energy, Solar Heat, 20 damage. If there's a stadium card in play, the stack does 20 more. But the main card I was interested in is Lunatone, with its ability Heal Block. If you have Solrock in play, neither player can heal damage from their Pokemon. Depending on how the format goes, this actually might be important, but we'll see. And then, for a fighting and a colorless, Luna Blast for 30. So. Alright, Weavile. Yet another deck that I'm going to be looking into. For 1 colorless energy, Dark Awakening, this attack does 60 damage to every Pokemon in play that has an ability. This can get stupid. The only thing that I have to question about it is whether or not it's all Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's, or if it's just your opponent's Pokemon. Because if it's both yours and your opponent's, that's going to make things very difficult. Because, technically speaking, in that case, you wouldn't be able to take advantage of things like Tapu Lele. At least not effectively without having to get rid of them somehow. But that's just my 2 cents. I want to know if that is going to affect both players, or if it's just the one. I guess we'll see. Alright, so yeah, Darkrai. This is one that both me and Silver Melody want to be looking into. 180 HP, basic Dark-type Pokemon. Yeah. Alright. Its ability, Resurrection. Once during your turn, before your attack, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may play this card to your bench and attach 1 dark energy from your discard pile to this card. The synergy with Breakpoint Darkrai is obvious and doesn't need to be explained. So, we're not going to explain it. We're just going to say it's a thing. Then Dark Rift for 2 dark and a colorless. 130 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. This will help out a lot against Sylveon and things like that, so that's natural. And then for 2 dark and a colorless, same energy cost. Dead End GX. If your opponent's active Pokemon is affected by a special condition, that Pokemon is now knocked out. Just straight up. And actually, it's any special condition. So that might actually have synergy with a couple other things like Salazzle or something. So definitely interesting, though. An expanded Hypnotoxic Laser is going to make this thing ridiculous. Alright. And then we got Wish Baton. It's a tool. The Pokemon this card is attached to is your active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack. Choose up to 3 basic energy attached to that Pokemon and move them to one of your benched. I like this a lot more than the XP share. This is a powerful item card right here. Because just like XP share, it only moves basics. The only difference is you only need the 1 attack attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it just seems like a very powerful card. And it doesn't specify to one of your bench, it's to any of your bench. So you can throw all 3 on 1 or split 3 up. I can see that pairing very well with Darkrai GX, being able to just synchronize everything. Definitely something I'll be looking into. I'll probably, after this next Pokemon Day, we'll probably get into that a little bit more. But for now, I'm going to be working on that, so just keep your eyes peeled for that. Acerola. Choose one of your Pokemon with damage counters on it. Return that Pokemon and all cards attached to it to your hand. So, similar to AZ, except you don't discard whatever's attached to it. The big difference is it has to have damage. As long as Team Magma's Secret Base is in play, this is going to be pretty powerful. But once that rotates, it's going to be harder to pull off unless you play Rainbow Energy and then move it or using, say, I don't know, multi-switch or something. But yeah. Anyway, so as of right now, I should probably go back and double check, but as of right now, that's the cards that I found were interesting out of that. Let's see. Oh. Yep, we got some more, so it's a good thing we checked. Let's see if there are any more here. That. Alright, yeah, so it's only these two, but, oh, great. Okay. So we're getting, Secret Rare Rescue Stretcher and Secret Rare Muscle Dumbbells. God damn it. Oh. Alright, yeah, so that's a thing. That just happened. I swear to God, literally, I just mentioned the fact that we were 2 Secret Rares shy of Guardians Rising. And as I'm talking about that, there you go. So, alright. So yeah, that's our Secret Rares. We should have all of them now, because we have the main 6. We have Muscle Dumbbells here, Escape Rope, Super Scoop Up, Rescue Stretcher, and then you have the Fairy and Fire Energy cards there. And then also you have the Dark Energy, Choice Band, and Multi-Switch from the Strength and Expansion pack. Alright, so that's kind of interesting. Again, yeah, I will be building a few of these decks and testing them out. This next Poke Monday that you guys are going to see, that's not going to have any cards from this set in it. I'm probably going to finish up with that. Also, because I am not a competitive player, it's really not my place to try to put out deck lists for Worlds. So I'm not going to be putting out anything that'll be prior to next format from this Poke Monday on out. This Poke Monday, we're going to have 2 deck lists, finish everything out there, and then we're going to start preliminarily going over some of these decks, looking at them, profiling them out, and shipping them, and seeing how you guys like them. So, but again, every single one of those decks that's going to be included, including Burning Shadows in it, will be post-rotation, so just keep that in mind, okay? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys actually sat through that, I don't know how long this is actually going to be after editing and cuts and whatever, so, but if you guys actually did sit through that whole thing, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any suggestions for decks you'd like to see me build, or any ideas that might help out with any of the decks that you think, just let me know down in the comments below. I would like to hear about that, as again, I'm not the best player out there. I mostly play for fun, but either way, whatever, doesn't matter. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.